I want us to shift a little bit and we talk about something very important: money. Pesa.
Where's the money?
Where is this money? Climate finance. We know there is money somewhere. Hatujui iko wapi? And where is this money going? And so maybe just back to Kapanga again. What are some of the climate funds that exist? And who benefits?
Yeah.
What are some of the monies that we know ziko sahi around climate? Na nani ana benefit from these things?
Yeah, thank you. So the climate finance landscape, it's a global thing. It starts from the global level all the way to the grassroots. That grassroots CBO that applies for a grant from a donor from somewhere. So there's a whole system on that. Now, climate finance, as I mentioned it's a small issue that we bring up when we talk about the green technology, but it's a very important aspect in terms of green transition, ensuring that it succeeds. So there are various avenues and platforms for climate finance where youth or groups can actually leverage for the digital economy and digital and green transition. To start with, we have funds from the global level that are channeled directly to the national level. For example, the adaptation fund. Adaptation fund comes from the global level to the national level, and then at the national level, it's the National Environment Management Authority that now partners with the CSOs. It's not an implementing partner itself. It cannot implement projects, but then it partners with it implements projects through groups, through CSOs, through CBOs. Further than that, the one that I can refer to that is very accessible to youths and to groups at the grassroots level is FLOCA. We've heard of FLOCA, the 10-year project program from running all the way to 2030, financing locally led climate action. So these are funds that are coming directly from the World Bank to the grassroots through, of course, the national government, the national treasury, then down to the county government through the relevant departments of environment and climate change. So how youths can leverage on these funds is of course, they have to be registered as CBOs. And at county level, when counties receive these monies, they then disburse or they implement projects, sometimes through groups. So, for example, case and point, for example, for Nairobi, where we are, Nairobi receives FLOCA money from Treasury. So there are projects that they implement as a county, and there are projects that they implement through CSOs and CES. Yeah. So that is available money that that of course CSOs or youth groups that are in the digital economy can leverage on. Another source of funding is through PPPs, public-private partnerships, and not really PPPs, but also partnerships with the private sector. We have organizations, we have corporates that fund green projects. For example, I'll give an example of MasterCard. Yeah. They're so much and so big in waste management. Funding, I know of groups that have been funded to do BSF, Black Soldier Fly, that is MasterCard, and very many other corporates that offer finance for green action. So all those are sources of funding. And then of course we have even banks. When Jiro was talking about e-mobility, we have banks that are offering some are offering loans and some are offering these are called, I think, consolidated loans, or I think such a term. Yeah, they are offering such structured finances for groups and for CBOs and CSOs to fund them into the green energy. And it does not just end in the transport sector. It goes all the way to clean cooking, because that's also, it's an energy issue. An example of such a bank is KCB. They have such a structure. Yeah, so generally that is the climate finance landscape with regards to how the very basic and very local CBOs can leverage on such opportunities that are available for them to access funding for digital transition. Yeah.
Thank you, Kapanga. I threw that to him knowingly because I know he knows where the money is. So
That's why I'm seated next to you.
umeka karibu na power.
Yeah.
So the fact is there is money. Pesa iko. Pesa ya climate iko. But back to you, Johnson, because I know you also work with the informal settlements, vulnerable groups, communities at its core. Do you think they have this information? Do you think they know that World Bank imepeana pesa ya Floka and it's half loan, half grant, and one day the citizens will pay for that loan? And that money is supposed to go into climate projects. Do the communities know that?
Great. Before I answer your question, I would also want to highlight something on climate finance. The concept around climate finance became so much clear when we had the Paris Agreement of 2015 that stipulated polluter pays, the polluter pays principle that required the global north countries to pay to the global south countries in order to continue doing what they are doing, at the same time also recovering on what they've already damaged within the global south countries. So with that, it gave the global south avenues on which to seek for support in terms of grants, in terms of concessional loans. At the moment, grants area is a little bit shrinking in a bit, but they are concessional loans. Concessional loans are a blend of grants and loans. Most of the time, these loans are offered by corporate bodies. We would have companies, would equally have maybe banks. And this again also brought another concept, the carbon markets and the carbon credits bit, where we were able to, as a country, explain and also justify that in the year 2020, we were able to sequence this amount of carbon. And in return, we would want this amount of money. So it's something that has been there. But we totally agree. Universally, there's no term that really defines climate finance. So that is a loophole. Because if we cannot really have a universal term referring to climate financing, then it means how I interpret climate financing as someone working within the informal settlements might be totally different from how someone who at the moment works at a rural setup. But again, to also bring it back to what you've asked, Kapanga has said there's money. And there's a term we used to be told in 2022, tumepanga, tumetenga. I hope Kapanga is not kupanga again. This money in the community is there partly, and it is not there partly. Why so? Because people like myself that have gotten chances to be in such platforms are not able to take this information to the communities that we serve. To some extent, we are aggressive enough to get the information, but at the same time, we also hold it to a level that it only benefits me. So that has been the biggest hindrance when it comes to information around climate financing at a community level. Currently, we've had 2 counties being brought on board when you're talking about Floka. That is Mombasa and Nairobi. And there's something that Floka is also cooking that is going to be a game changer for our informal settlements called BCRAP, Building Climate Resilience Among the Urban Poor. It's a funding mechanism that is going to target a couple of organizations that are working within informal settlements. Kibera is one of them, Madara is another, Kangemi is another, to really look at what is the quality of life within these environments. Are we able to link environment to households? Are we able to link environment to drainage systems? Are we able to link environment to, let's say, power? how we go about our affairs within these informal settlements. So the biggest hurdle has holding information. The second bit, some of these things are usually boardroom led. It's a conversation we have in terms of Flocker being there. But did we go to the grassroots communities to share with them that we currently have funds that can assist you in going about your affairs? And obviously we are able differently. To some extent, it also comes very much of a disadvantage when you're talking about those of us that are able differently, people living with, or people with disabilities. Because when you're talking about young people, we have an array of young people. An hindrance is when I have Johnson being part of that discussion, all the young people are included, which is wrong. Johnson being included means those that do not have any special need at the same time are not included. Yeah. So we need to break it down. We are talking about a young person. Is he a young person from Nairobi? Is he a young person from Alego, one of the rural areas we have in Kenya? Is he a young person that is able differently? Is he a young person that is educated? So those are the bits that still becomes more of an hindrance when it comes to a community level, especially us working in Kibera, that we've seen, yes, those that are educated are able to grasp these concepts, because sometimes the climate jargons are usually also quite difficult. So when we're talking about climate finance, defining it at this level, but bringing it to a level that me as, let's say, Njeru at Kibera is able to understand. And at a youth level, especially, let's say in Kibera, I'll be referring to Kibera because that is where I work in. If a conversation is not aligned to how I'm going to grow, I won't give it so much attention. If a conversation is not so much aligned around how I'm going to put food on my table, then I won't give it so much attention. So another challenge is how we also package this information that we have at a community level. So those are the few hindrances that we have. The information is partly there. Again, the information is not so much to the people that needs to get them most. Those of us with the information tend to sometimes hoard it because we would want to be the same people benefiting from the same funding mechanisms. Yes.
Oh, the level of honesty.
Yes.
Huh? I didn't think it would get to that point where we are talking about people actually hoarding information. Yes, you are a community practitioner, you are a development practitioner in a certain maybe informal settlement. You have the information, but you don't want the communities to know that information. And it's a bit sad because I think we are supposed to be the bridge. The civil society is supposed to be the bridge between communities and partners and stakeholders, locally, internationally, regionally. And if we begin to hoard information, then that means we are leaving our communities naked.
Yeah.
Which is an ethical issue that I think we can talk about some other time. But then I would like to also bring that to Njeru and ask, do you think there is transparency in how these funds are used?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think let me build up on Johnson's.
Yeah.
Because I noticed he mentioned that anything that does not teach me how to get food on my table is not relevant to me. I'll drive you to one great man. His name is Dr. Isaac NairoGreen. He has authored a book, Green for Life, and he talks about how he bought his first Mercedes by selling seedlings. If you are to plant trees today, would you buy or would you ask for donation?
If I was to plant
trees today, would you ask for donation from an environmental organization or would you buy that seedling?
Depending on what I'm doing, if there is a budget line for that, I think it's only ethical to support whoever is doing that business.
Here's the game changer. Anytime you're doing something that involves tree planting, make sure you buy that tree. That is how we are going to ensure that climate financing can be accurate, that it can be done.
Yeah.
That the person you're buying the tree from can be able to put Garimatum on the table, can be able to pay the school fees that they have as arrears for their children.
True.
And that's why for us as GTAP, despite our membership being the major contributor of financing our party, or even the political parties fund, we understand that everything that must align to us ensuring that our membership and the Kenyans in general can put food on their table.
Yeah.
When it comes to transparency, it needs to be very effective in that sustainability shows. We don't need to measure transparency by anything else. Transparency comes in when we see sustainability. That someone built a road, it can be used 10, 15 years later. You used this number of this amount to make that road, and we can be able to see that road in use for 15 years. That's transparency, because there is sustainability in it. Now, when it comes to transparency in how funds are used, Kenya is booming with corruption. Until I am involved in corruption, then it's not good until I am involved.
Yeah.
It's not good until I am the one benefiting.
Actually, there is a term. If I'm not involved, it is corruption.
Yes.
If I'm involved, it is connection.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
You see, so when it comes to transparency, I think we need to. There is what we call green scorecard at GTAP. Green scorecard is ensuring that Kahindi here is MCA Kakuyuni, and us as a party, we go to citizens or people who elected you to ensure that we can account for what he has been able to provide for them, for what he has been able to fulfill to them. And that is what transparency at GTAP means, that we can be able to provide a scorecard. You promised 100 of this, you have delivered 90. What percentage? Then why have you not been able to deliver on the 10% that you promised? That is what we refer to as the green scorecard. So transparency looks into ensuring that there is sustainability, there is livelihoods that can be able to be looked into, that people can be able to put food on their table, and anything that was put in place, if that financing was to ensure that there was awareness, how many people were impacted? If that funding was put to ensure that we could put 5 green parks, why do we have 3? Then if there are 5 and there was supposed to be 5 and there are 3, then where are the rest? Where are the 2? That is not accountability, because you promised to bring up 5, you only have 3. So we are not transparent by how we are using the funding. And the biggest issue could be that what is put in and what comes out does not match the investment. So there needs to be a measure of, and that's why we're advocating for green scorecard, to ensure that we can measure what was put in as investment and what has come out as impact. So as we talk about transparency, it is also us to hold our leaders accountable for what they mentioned, what they promised in their manifestos, and what we can see. Because if you tell me in a work and I'm looking at the environmental consequences that you're facing, I don't think that is transparency.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's corruption when I'm not involved, and it's connection
when I'm involved.
And now thinking about the buying of trees, you know, I think people tend to buy everything. When you want to do something, let's say you want to plant a tree today, you'll make sure you buy all the other things, the pangas and everything probably will be bought. But then when it comes to trees, we're like, who can donate?
Thank you.
Which is wrong.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. And it takes us back to the mindset shift.
Yes.
It starts from the mind. How do we shift that green economy is an actual economy? Wow. Okay. I like the realizations that we are having today. So, in terms of money, as we finish up with Kahindi, he's our incoming MCA.
Yeah.
As an incoming leader, how do you think young people can be involved in oversight? We've talked about transparency. We've talked about pesa iko. There's a gap in transparency. How do you and I, how can we get involved in oversight? How do we become the watchdogs in terms of climate finance, where the climate money go?
I think Kapanga has made it clear that indeed there's funds.
Yeah.
And for me, as I've introduced myself, I'm a resource mobilizer and a partnership coordinator. We have so many funds, and leave alone the global partners. Even within ourselves, there are those people who are interested in supporting one thing or the other. But one key concern, I think my friend was trying to explain about transparency. We have had, despite of an organization or an association, because with young people, there are so many uprising organizations that have been coming up, and most of them, even the leaders. For me, when I started Kilifi County Comrade Association, after 1 week, after they have known or realized there's that organization, there were 5 similar organizations that were formed. All of us are looking for spaces to collaborate with the government. And it happened that one of the organizations got some support from the government. But how can you oversight? You see, we are both, we are very eager to, like we say ninja ya uongozi in Kiswahili. You see, so we have the money, but again, some conflicts rise, and we feel like tunasemanga ni kuosha. We feel like the agenda of that organization is manipulated. So number one, we have no trust to our leaders, despite of us claiming that we are indeed the change or the game changers. But that trust to our leaders is, so I might be willing, me as an MCA incoming, I might be willing to engage young people to oversight that climate fund. But indeed, I might lose or have no trust with them because of when, let's say, for that organization that after support and nothing was done, the money that was given out ended up into some few people. They had the money into their pocket, and the agenda was not done. You see, so about the oversight, to me, it takes me to the trust first. See, when we build our trust to leave alone the leaders, the political leaders, even the government, I mean the global partners, the other stakeholders, they may need, and it is, of course, that is obvious, they'll need to like take everything into account. What have you done with this man? What have you done with this man? And where we are now getting wrong, when you as a leader, you get that money, and even our structures are not that well set up. Our governance structures, young leaders, are not that strong. You see? And one of the key things that is really affecting us as young people, we don't see like Kahindi can be the person to lead us. And then that is where we draw the line. So before we get to now how young people are engaged to oversight the funds.
Yeah.
How are we building our trust with this leader? With these stakeholders. Because for me, actually, when I support you, I'll have to take everything into account. So number one thing to make sure that we are engaged and we are like tapped in to oversight this thing. Number one, we really need to have gained the trust of these partners. Number 2, we really need to be honest with what we are trying to do. Number 2, we need to have gone through the concept of leadership. Because you see, hata hapa tupewe hivi milioni 1 inaweza tuwa vibaya sana. Kama vijana kweli, that is the reality of the situation. You see, we don't view long term things as a concern to us or something to give a priority. But what we feel like, we just need to gawanya and it end up that way. For me, I can tell you for sure we have so many organizations that are no longer existing at the moment because of those things. And money is there. Money is there. But that is now the challenge that I'm putting in. Mimi siwezi kukutrust ukuja ni oversight ya kitu. Hata by the way, let's say uko na nyumba unajenga. Si ndio? Yeah. You have the contractor, you have everyone who is needed to set up your building. But that one person who is very close to you and the other people are looking forward to him or her to like support or pay them. Kama hafikishi, hapo kwa sasa kutakuwa na kitu inaendelea kweli? Yes, si ndio? Yeah. So it begins from, it is a whole concept that we really need to learn before we get trusted. Even for me, as I'm going to that seat, how is my relationship with the community and with the leaders? True. Because now I'm going to be given money for bursary. I'm going to be given so many funds to support the community initiatives. If I have no trust if they don't trust in me, how are they going to like support me in even implementing? If I have wrangles with the top leadership, if I have see some developments hazijakuja. Sorry kidogo nimetoka kwa climate, but I'm just trying to link up with, because this is a whole concept we need to understand. And whatever I'm sharing, it is affecting every sector, not alone, leave alone the not climate finance alone. So you see, these are some of the small things that we need now to, let's say an organization that is now running for or doing the green thing. Sindio? Mumeenda hapo, structurally we are aware you are a political part or organization, something like that. You see? Then our engagement with the community iko ni kitu yenye the community they cannot trust. Juu watu wengi, we have so many like Kemsfed has offered. Now I'm thinking of a way, and this is, you can confirm with me because most of you have been deep into that. Some of these organizations are opting to support in terms of in-kind, but not cash. You see, Mimi, I have an organization, I've registered my boys at home. Wamepewa tu free, hizi zinaitwaje hizi za kuhatch mayai, incubators. Sindio, we gave a budget, the incubators were brought. So you can see, to that level, to lose the trust to these partners. So oversight, it first begins with how are we utilizing the finances, and we cannot ignore documenting, recording the story from the beginning, because that is where we can drive evidences from. Yeah. So for me, I feel like I cannot answer the aspect of how you are coming as an oversight or oversighter, but you have to really understand what to do in your capacity for you to gain that trust and to be trusted with a lot of money, because most of these organizations support with a lot of funds. Kama mimi sasa pesa nimeshika kubwa ni milioni 1. Ukiniakia bilioni 2, kwanza nimeenda diani for 1 week. That's the story.
Yeah, true.
Nasahau ya kwamba pesa si yangu, ni ya kufanya. So I feel like we also need to go through lessons and understand more about that.
Sheila,
Wow. Nilikuwa niwapeleke mahali, lakini I can give a few 1 minute, 1 minute, and then we move. Yeah. So
let me add on what he has mentioned.
Yeah.
He has spoken about oversight.
Yeah.
Let me connect it to transparency. We are living in a digital era. He has mentioned about documentation.
Yeah.
I think what I missed to mention is that media is our biggest asset to ensure that we can document whatever we are doing.
I agree.
We have websites, we have applications, we have newsletters. Those organizations that receive funding, we need and we demand to have transparency seen through digital media, newsletters, and applications. So I think that is the best way to ensure transparency, that we're living in a digital era. Let me be able to access a report of an organization from their website on my phone.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And when you look at, I was looking at the Murang'a County and how it has digitized its systems. If you go to the website of Murang'a County, you can see on real time how many patients are being treated and what is coming up, what is the major disease that is being treated per day. So real time, unaona leo Murang'a County hospitals may receive 20,000 patients, na 10,000 of these patients walikuja na flu. Do you know what that means? It means it means that we have the capacity to bring this, to replicate those systems in other departments. We are just not doing it because nobody wants to have 10,000 eyes looking at them, per second and saying, ngoja, ulipewa 2 million, ukatumia 1.9 million, 100,000 iko wapi? So I think we have the ability to do it. We've seen someone do it. We just need to advocate for replication of that in different departments. Kapanga?
Yeah, just to add on what my colleagues have said. When it comes to climate finance and monitoring how these funds go and the impact they create, many times reports are done by organizations and they're just sent to donors and it ends there. But then we don't get to understand whether these reports are credible, number one, whether the impact was real, number two, and whether whatever is reported there is legitimate. And for example, in Kenya, or not in Kenya, but for the Green Climate Fund and the Adaptation Fund, there's a recommendation that every money that is disbursed to every country there should be reports to show that say 10 billion hit Kenya, then 5 billion was sent to this specific organization and this to deal with waste management, this and this to deal with maybe reforestation and stuff, and this. But at the end of the day, have we ever seen such reports?
No.
They are so much get kept, if at all they exist. So it's a gap. It's a gap that people are not reporting on climate finance. So it's even hard to track and say there's accountability, and to even say how much is coming. For example, in Kenya, it's so hard to track all that money coming in and even the impact it's creating. Therefore,
yeah, I agree. Even if our government today wanted to say, I want to know the amount of money that comes in for the purpose of climate, they wouldn't get that information. They wouldn't get that data. Because at this point, it's more like an organization and it's donor. And that's the only communication that happens.
Again, there's something my good friend has mentioned which has really hit me, but again, the question that was directed to me was not aligned to what I wanted to also. So I opted to give a response, then if allowed, come back. He has mentioned he has actually asked you about when you want to like either plant a tree, do you consider buying or donation? I'll take that again as a key concern. It is not that we cannot make it as young people. We can really make it. But again, we are over-dependent on people or on partners. For Kilifi County Comrade Association, at the moment, or the young population. I'm from AXAP. AXAP is a national body of all the 47 county student associations. At the moment, we have a membership of 263,000 plus. When we propose that, can we do even a contribution of 50 shillings to initiate a certain project, you will hear that we cannot do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me you cannot give out 50 shillings? Do you want to tell me you cannot give out 100 shillings? You can imagine how many or how much we can collect from these people. You see?
Yeah.
So many of these programs that we want to run, maybe some of them are aligned with climate. Because getting finances is not also a small thing. It takes a lot of time. We have failed to own these things as our own.
Yeah.
You see? And I think it starts from our homes.
Yeah.
For me, my dad, I told my dad when I was in Form 3 that now going forward, you'll have to give me an opportunity to see what I can bring for myself. So, cut some things, let me test life. You see?
Yeah.
But again, we see the way our families have made us. If dad cannot get it for me, I will wait until he does. You see, and that is what is failing us. Remember the whole generation, if the money that we were supporting, mpaka kutoke crisis ya mtu amekufa, then we are so speed. We can even give out 50,000, but for real things, imagine like the example that my friend has given you. This is something we can even sell the seedlings to the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we can really own these things as young people. So I want also to challenge those who are listening.
Yeah.
Should we wait for people to support us so that we feel like, because again, we tend to take ourselves so special.
Yeah.
In a way that when you cannot support me, I will not do it.
Yeah.
So most of us are even dying because of waiting.
And I really like that, Kahidi, because you're bringing in the concept of domestic resource mobilization. Can we mobilize resources amongst ourselves and run our own programs? Can we not depend on the half grant, half loan system? Because at the end of the day, we'll pay that loan. But if you look at it carefully, we have enough money to go around. We have enough money to fund our programs. Why can't we tap on that? And I think that also will take us to the issue of accountability. Yes, we have enough money to go around, but where is it going? Pesa iko wapi?
But you know,
allow me to pack the issue of finance ni moto.
but just one
Your
thing,
parking is going to be full.
you see
Parking is already
one thing with giving out, you will make sure that hiyo kitu you have umetoa is being used the way you want. Imagine the way mimi sasa niko na pesa yenu and this is what we agreed. I'm so sure in my mind you guys mko na power ya kuingia ground Kahindi.
Kahindi.
Tell us where the money is.
You cannot wake up and go to the area with our money.
So you see now you will hold me accountable, and of course I'll have to do what we are doing. But again, I'm getting you back to the issue of trust.
Yeah.
Are you can we trust each other that when we do this we are going to do greater things?
I love it. Okay. All right. We'll pause that conversation. I'll make a whole podcast so that I talk about money because money is a very ni power.
Yeah.
Pesa ni power, na? All right. Feeding the nation.